How are we going to make more muscle bulk, especially if you are over 40 and it seemingly is getting more difficult? Well, we want to maximize your capabilities to make muscle hypertrophy and make the muscle grow. And it's going to have to come by resistance training. So weightlifting would be an example of resistance training. Gone are the days of cardio and you just are blasting it out for 40 minutes on the elliptical. That is just not going to roll anymore. Because we're losing muscle bulk as we age, we have to start lifting. But let's take a look at this article. So resistance training is the primary intervention used to develop muscle strength. And as you are doing this resistant training, you are going to gain muscle mass, which is the goal of reducing sarcopenia. But remember, we also want strength and function. We also know the more muscle mass we have, that we will have decreased risk for various diseases such as cardiovascular disease, metabolic disease, less likely to develop type 2 diabetes. So how do you make your muscles grow? Well, your muscles actually growing is a muscle hypertrophy, so gaining. So muscle hypertrophy happens when muscle protein synthesis exceeds muscle protein breakdown. So you're making more than you're tearing down, and it results in a positive net protein balance in a cumulative period. And this is going to be achieved with resistance training and protein ingestion. You have to fuel your body. You cannot starve yourself and grow muscles. This is a lesson women 40 plus have to learn. You cannot starve yourself anymore. It's not going to work. I say anymore. You shouldn't starve yourself ever, but you know what I mean. So from the nutrition point of view, protein intake along with resistance training is the stimulus to make muscle protein synthesis, otherwise known as grow your muscles. And the accepted amount that you should lift to make that muscle bulk generally rolls in the range of 1 to 3 sets at 70 to 85% of the 1 rep max. And I have been telling women generally 3 sets of 8 or 5 sets of 5 at 70% of your 1 rep max if we happen to know it. So how your muscles are going to grow is tension is going to have to be placed upon them. So that's where the resistance is coming. There has to be enough stress to cause change, and it stresses it so much there's muscle damage. So these factors can occur by doing the resistance training, lifting, and the progressive mechanical tension overload is considered one of the main factors of muscle growth. So making your muscles. So you keep stressing your muscles and adding stress, adding tension to make your body tear down and then build back up. Lately, I've been shifting to having my women lift much heavier than I ever have before. I'm going with the 5x5 model. I'm having to do 5 sets of 5, and oftentimes I'm having them just do 5 exercises, and the goal is for them to have a change in how they've been lifting, because previously they've been doing like 3 sets of 10 or 2 sets of 15. However, it should be noted that if you're doing this resistance training and weightlifting, and if you're not going to fatigue and reaching at least the minimum resistance training threshold of 60% of your 1 rep max, you're not going to make enough change. You're going to have to lift heavier now that we're older to make more change. You need to stop thinking you're going to lift those light little weights and just tone. That might have been fine, 35 and under. But now that our protein synthesis and our muscles aren't building the way they once were, we have to literally try harder. But on that same thread, I need you to train, and your diet is just as important. If you are not fueled, you cannot grow. So recent research has shown that muscle hypertrophy, so that's making growth, that occurs in the initial stages of weightlifting and resistance training. So in the beginning, there is a newbie, you're going to have a lot more gains in the first 4 sessions, is mostly attributed to muscle damage causing cell swelling, with a majority of strength gains resulting with neural adaptations, meaning your brain's getting smarter, you're learning how to make the change. As you continue to lift, within the later phases, so 6 to 10 weeks out, muscle growth begins and becomes a dominant factor. So you may see some initial gains because you're a little swole from all the stuff that's happening and damage, but the true strength gains come with time. So as you learn about weightlifting, these are some basic principles that you might not have known, and I'd love you to know because I need you to know about your body. So yeah, we're weightlifting now. We're weightlifting heavy, and we're changing what we believe. Welcome.